Hey y'all, this is Charity with Stampin' with Love, and today I want to show you how to make this cute little notebook holder out of one of our cool recruit folders that we have for demonstrators. Inside, you have a little notebook and you have a pocket where you can keep all kinds of stuff. So it's just kind of a fun little project to turn our folder into this cute Stampin' Up! Notebook. So let's get started. Now this is my first video, so I ask that you give me lots and lots of grace, okay? The first thing that you want to do is we're going to remove the pockets. You need to be careful when you do this and just kind of cut along the side, okay? So I'm going to come in here with my scissors and I'm going to come down the side. It doesn't have to be perfect or pretty, but you need to kind of get it as close to the edge. We'll clean them up later. As you can see, it's not going to be very pretty. I found it easier to use the Calypso coral side on the inside and cut right along that score line. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be done. Now, we're going to set this piece aside because we're actually going to use it later, okay? I'll put it out of the way. I'm going to cut off this pocket, and then I'm going to get my trimmer. Now, I'll be using the old trimmer, but that's okay because hopefully we'll be getting a new one soon, right? We will see. In the meantime, I love mine, and I'm going to show you a trick on how to use it even when your stuff is longer than the trimmer itself. Now, I got to get my most important tool. Excuse me for just a second. Getting old is not a joke. All right, here's my trimmer. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off 3/4 of an inch from the right-hand side. Now, don't sweat about all these measurements because there's going to be a document underneath this video, okay, that you can download that's going to tell you what to do. So I'm talking about the front. I'm going to cut off 3/4 of an inch. And what I'm doing is I'm actually looking at this side of my trimmer. I'm going this direction. So I'm going to line it up with the 3/4 inch mark this direction, okay, like so. And cut that off. Now, see that ugly part? It's gone. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into my trimmer upside down with the top of the folder at the top, and I'm going to cut it at 13.5 inches. Now, this means I've got to open it up, put my foot out here. Now, upside down with the top means I'm going to flip it over, okay, like so. And I'm going to cut it at 13.5. So basically, if you think about it, that edge we just cut is coming this direction, okay? So now I want to line it up with 13.5. I'm going to cut this side off. Awesome. Now, save this piece, okay? I'm going to show you something cool to do with that in just a minute. So far we have it like this, okay? We're going to trim our bottom edge to kind of square it off. Okay, this is where we cut off those pockets earlier. So what I'm going to do is slide it in my trimmer, just slightly. I'm checking to make sure that that scraggly edge that I didn't cut very straight with my scissors is in there, and I'm going to slide it like so. Okay, now I know, Charity, that's too long. Well, that's okay. I'm just going to slide it up. I'm in my trimmer where you can see it, sorry. This time I'm going to bump it up against this card at the bottom. I'm going to line up my cut that I just made with my groove. That's what's awesome about this trimmer. Slide this in, and then I'm just going to cut off that little bottom part. It's okay if it's not perfect because that's going to be folded up as part of my pocket later, okay? Now, I've trimmed off my bottom, so now I'm going to cut my height from the bottom to 11 inches. So I want to go 11 inches from the bottom toward the top. Okay, again, it's going to be a little bit longer than my trimmer, sorry. Let me pull it back down where you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm going to go up to 11 inches. Okay, this is from my bottom. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut here. And then all I have to do is slide it up a little bit, bump it up against that bar again, make sure I'm at 11 inches on this side. And I'll just pull it down to the bottom. I know you couldn't see that, but just trust me, that came off, okay? Same method I just did before. All right, so now, right side up with the top at the top, okay? with the top of my folder at the top. This is right side up, okay? I'm gonna start scoring. I'm gonna move my cutting blade back up to the top out of the way so I don't accidentally cut, which I have done before. That's okay. At 1 3/4 inch, I'm gonna give it a score. Okay, 2 1/8, which is right there. Score it. It's a thick folder, so go ahead and go back and forth. 7 5/8, which is here, and then at 8. Awesome. Now I'm going to turn it with the bottom toward the left-hand side, and I'm going to score it at 2 3/4. Again, it's going to be too big for my groove, okay, but I'm at 2 3/4, so I'm going to score it like this. And I'm going to move my trimmer up so I can show you, and then I'm going to shift it up. Now I'm looking down here at the bottom. Again, I'm lining it back up at 2 3/4, and I'm just going to score that little bottom part that I didn't get the first time. Okay, so that's it. So now I'm going to put my trimmer out of the way. We've got a little more cutting to do. So I'm going to go ahead and fold up this bottom part. And I just realized I failed to get my bone folder, so I am just going to improvise and use the edge of my scissors, right? Because we can improvise. And the way this is going to look, go ahead and fold up all of those score lines really well. Okay, this is my original one in the back. I don't need that one. In fact, if y'all will bear with me just a second. I am going to grab a bone folder because it's kind of important. I also want to show you a really cool tip. When you already have a score line and you don't want it anymore, if you take your bone folder and you actually run it along that score line, you can actually kind of push it out so that it's nice and flat. And I'm saying that, it's not working fabulously, but we'll focus on that. But I don't need to do that quite right now. Now, the next thing I want to do is I've got to cut out this bottom part right here. This is going to be our flap that wraps around the front, like so. So we don't need this portion here at the bottom. So again, I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm just going to cut very carefully this time, because I do want it to be nice and straight and pretty. Cut right on in to that second score line there. Then I'm going to come up the side, like so. And voila. There we go. I know I sound a little bit like Frenchie Martin there. Love her. All right, so this is kind of our basic notebook, like so. The key is, when you're putting it together, sticky strip is your best friend, okay? Or tear and tape. Sorry, not sticky strip. That's the old name. Tear and tape. Love this stuff. So I'm going to come down the side right here. You want to get it right next to the side because we got to have room to slide our notebook in. Okay, give it a good tear. I'm going to come, you've got these two score lines right here down the middle. Instead of doing this side of the pocket, I'm actually going to run my tear and tape right down the middle between those two score lines. It fits perfectly in there. It also gives me a little bit more space on my pockets. And then down here on this end, I'm also going to put a strip of tear and tape right there along the edge, as close as I can get it. That's going to form my pocket. Give it a good rub. Peel off the backs. Yay for fingernails on this part. Alrighty. You know, I'm just throwing trash on the floor. My mama would be so mad at me. Okay. Then you're going to fold that up. Okay. Go ahead and just line up that center part, and then I'm just going to fold out to the edges this way. Okay, that should be lined up. It's okay, I got a little room in my pockets. I'm going to give it a rub again with my bone folder just to make it nice and mashed down. So here's your basic idea for your little notebook cover. Okay, now some cool tips and tricks to show you is I used our trio punch to round the corners on the flap side. okay? So you can stick those in there and around those corners. It gives it a nice finished touch, okay? My notebooks that I purchased from Amazon, my other favorite store in the world, and you get a pack of them. I can't remember how many, but they were really inexpensive, and I loved it, so that just slides right down there in my pocket. Now, I really love for everything to match and coordinate, and you remember that pocket that we cut off at the beginning? I'm going to show you how really quickly to make a topper for your notebook. So first of all, I'm going to look at this back side, and you've got where it was overlapped here. So we'll start with the pocket, their line at the top. This is where I cut it. That's not straight. So let's use this edge that's straight, and I want to cut off where that part is glued on there. So we're just going to whack that off, okay? Now it's not double. So you want it to be 5 inches by 7/8 inches. Okay, again, this is the part that I cut off with my scissors, so I'm gonna neaten that up. So I cut that line. I know that it's square, so I'm actually gonna come to the top, line it up, cut that off. Now it's nice and squared edge, okay, up there. And I'm gonna kind of look at it and gauge. Here's 5 inches. So is that kind of the flowers that I want to show? And that looks really nice, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna flip it over, line it up at 5 inches, and then I'm gonna cut it, okay? So now I have those flowers at 5 inches, and then this needs just to be 7/8 inch wide. So I'm gonna go this direction toward my 1 to 7/8 of an inch. That gives me nice and stability up there, and cut that part off, okay? So now I can take my sticky strip again, if I want to, and I can glue that to the top of my notebook, and it matches, okay? That's just fun. I love a good matchy-matchy. Now, to finish it off, before, we had our beautiful gingham ribbon. Well, it retired, but I think the new denim look ribbon would actually be very cute with the navy. Anything that we have that's got calypso coral or pool party, you've got all kinds of choices if you want to do that. I used a non-Stampin' Up! Punch to do the slots. You could use a hole punch or whatever, or you could skip the ribbon altogether. Velcro or a magnet would be great for your closure, but that's just a really simple, fun little project. Now, remember that piece that we cut off from our folder. Looked like this, right? Well, this is just too pretty of a piece to throw away. It happens to be about 3 3/4 inches wide, and 3 3/4 by 5 happens to be a perfect card front, so you can turn that into a beautiful card, like so. Okay, well, I hope that you have enjoyed this video today. You can buy our Recruit folders. I think it's a 5-pack for $3.25 as a supply item, okay, on our supply list. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. And as always, may your heart be full. May your tea be sweet. May God bless you real big until next we meet. Thanks, y'all. Bye.